Soul Left Behind with your host, Laura Brockway.
Welcome to No Soul Left Behind. I'm Laura Brockway, and I am really excited tonight. I have a guest co-host, my friend, Bill Robinson, the relentless conservative. He is a journalist at Red State, Newsmax, and the Huffington Post. Welcome, Bill.
Hey, Laura, great to be with you on this holy day.
Yes, it is. It's Shrove Tuesday. Thanks for mentioning it.
Mm-hmm.
Great to have you here. So you're here because we are going to talk to somebody really great. And together, I can't say I'm any less than in awe of you two, both of you, and everything you're doing. So thanks for coming on to help me talk to Brooke McGowan, who is the co-founder of MAGA Institute. Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Laura. Thank you for having me. Hello, Bill.
Hey, Brooke.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for taking the time to come on here. I know you're really busy with your Reawaken America tour with General Michael Flynn and Mike Lindell. I mean, you're going to talk to us about that tonight with a couple of other things.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, they have been really great. They are monthly tours. If people aren't aware of it, they can go to timetofreeamerica.com to get their tickets or learn about when it might be coming in their area. April will mark 1 year that the tour has been taking place. I've been blessed and asked to speak at it. I've also worked the media room as both media and running the media room. It's amazing. It's great. It's incredible. It feels like a family reunion. Yes, General Michael Flynn and Mike Lindell. And now Eric Trump has joined the tour. So that was really cool because last week when Eric was on stage, he got to call his dad and his dad got to speak to us through the speakerphone. That was pretty amazing. So it just feels like a family reunion or a conservative convention like you've never seen before, and that's the Reawaken America tour.
That is fantastic to hear. In a time when we need it more than ever, but we are not going away. It really hasn't died down. So it's good that people can get involved again. I'm glad these are going again. Bill, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say something.
No, I will say something. I can be counted on to say something at any point. I first met Brooke at the North Carolina GOP state convention, and I was just so blown away by her. She's such a dynamo. I was actually kicking myself a bit, and I was saying, why hadn't I met her earlier? She spent a lot of time with me talking, although she had a lot of people pulling at her. And her husband was so giving of Brooke's time and his time, too. So he was doing his work. And I was just glad to meet like-minded people, which is what it's all about. People that you can do a lot of head nodding with, and people that you can share some poignant moments and you really feel like you're in a collective effort to save this country.
Well, amen to that, Bill. It feels like you're battle buddies, actually, because we know we're at war, right? I mean, we are absolutely, and I will be in your foxhole anytime. Same with Laura. And, we have to continue with our messaging. And I'm so encouraged to be on your show today, Laura. I think that the realizing that we're at a spiritual war and a spiritual battle is the most important thing that American Christians can be doing right now, is recognizing the fight and to stay in that fight, whether we're on our knees or we're at our school boards or our town councils or county commission meetings, whatever. We have to stay engaged. And that's what we do at MAGA Institute. We encourage people to get involved and to stay involved. And we do that by a vetting process across the country.
Fantastic. Speaking of the Creator, why don't we all pray an Our Father together just to start this out in prayer, okay?
Yes.
Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Thy
kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us.
But lead us not
into temptation,
and deliver us from evil.
Deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
The power and the
power and the glory.
Forever and ever.
And ever. Amen.
Amen.
Sorry, I did the Episcopalian one there with the ending.
I knew you would, and that's okay. I appreciate that. That's perfectly okay. So no, it's all about reaching out to God first and foremost. So and we all know that. So this is all to Him. So now we can jump right into all of these hot topics. You're telling us. Tell us a little bit more about the tour. I saw a Facebook video of you speaking. Tell us a little bit just about what you speak about. And then we're going to get on to a little bit of other news, the convoys also. But tell us exactly what are you talking about on these tours?
Well, thanks, Laura. So MAGA Institute is our nonprofit, and we are vetting candidates across the country. So I talk about that a lot because I'm trying to get people engaged and involved. And to date, we have about 400 volunteers that currently are vetting candidates. So we talk about, what's taking place in their state, in their districts, and what's taking place with the primary. Because what people don't understand really, Laura, most people you speak on the streets, they know when the elections are, and they're in November every 4 years. That's literally what they think. Most people are not paying attention to these primary elections. If we let a bad rhino get through the gate and they're all the way to the general, then we can't bring that horse back, right? We can't get back that race. So we have to vet the candidates, which means clearly test them, find out who they are in the primary season. This is the primary season right now across the country. In fact, today, March 1st, is Texas primary taking place right now. And all across the rest of the country throughout the spring, all the way until almost August, there will be a primary in your state. And you need to know who those candidates that are running for Congress, for governor, for your state house and your general assemblies. Know who those candidates are. Find out if they are really Republicans, because let me tell you something. America is done with rhinos. America is finished with the Mitch McConnells. America is finished with the Mitt Romneys and the Liz Cheneys. And we are taking this to them, and they know it, and they are scared. In fact, I don't know if you've seen how many Democrats are not going to be running this year that have announced that they are resigning and walking away from their seats, because they know that this is going to be shellacking 2.0. If Barack Obama thought that 2010 was a shellacking, they haven't seen anything yet what will take place in 2022, but it starts in your primary, and that's happening right now.
Brooke, you're so right. It's great to see a fellow conservative fired up. It really is. So many conservatives, not the ones I just saw at CPAC, mercifully, but so many conservatives are downhearted now and feel like we can't win. And my message to them is, we're winning. We have to stay strong, remain calm in the face of fire, and we really have to continue building. We have to elect a whole new crop of these candidates. One of the things from CPAC was I saw so many candidates, and they were trying to get to me as a journalist because they had so many excited messages and utterances they wanted to share with me. And I had to keep telling them that I don't write about individual candidates so much. I write about the bigger issues. And they were so disappointed. They were like, who do you suggest I go to? But so the thing to look forward to, the thing to keep your chin up about, is this crop of young, often Black, often Latino, kind of a rainbow mixture of people who are running as real hardcore Republicans and mean business. I saw Madison Cawthorn, and he was going to be primaried in North Carolina after his first year there. And then he jumped in a redistricting switcheroo to another district, so he's going to get reelected. But he's indicative of the kind of rhinos you were talking about. Nobody in North Carolina in my district, and I voted for him, thought that he would turn out to be a mealy-mouthed, limp-wristed panty waist, but he did. And he was supposed to go in there and take apart verbally AOC and Nancy Pelosi, and I haven't heard a darn thing. He just goes on Fox News and seems to be a kind of an ego trip. So we really, like you pointed out, you have no way of telling. That's why the betting is so important that you do. You've really got to get in there and almost sick a top private investigator on some of these people to find out where they're going to let the voters down in the future. And it's
well,
great.
the problem is you can't see what they're going to do. And we can't, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what they're going to do, but we do hold their feet to the fire once they are in office. Now, I have to, take a little issue with you. I'm actually still quite proud of Madison Cawthorn. He is running in the 11th. He's filed for the 11th, which was, obviously Western North Carolina, where the redistricts have, he has a challenger, but he has a challenger that is his currently Michelle Woodhouse, which was his, his county, his district leader for the GOP. And I really think that is strategic as a placeholder, Bill, because that the Democrats are coming after Madison Cawthorn and trying to get him off of the ballot. Should he be taken off of the ballot? This week is his case. In fact, he's got a Supreme Court case coming up this week. The judge, they're not Supreme, it's a district case, federal district. So the judge does seem favorable, but we don't know what might happen. We'll find out. I'm supposed to be talking to his chief of staff or district gentleman, Mr. Weatherman, after this case takes place, and we'll find out what's happening. But Madison has been a fighter. In fact, Madison is being called out by the Democrats because he was a part of the January 6th rally at the Ellipse. They're trying to say that he was a part of that insurrection that wasn't. And, we find Madison a breath of fresh air. Now, he might not have cut them off at the knees exactly. He's probably behaving a little bit more like a gentleman with AOC. But, I still think that he's got a lot of vim and vigor, and he's got an incredible new contract with America that if you want to see, you need to go to his website and see. It's the new contract with America, akin to what, obviously Speaker Gingrich did back in the 90s. So it's going to be interesting to watch this play out. But Madison Cawthorn was the very first candidate that we certified at MAGA Institute. And in fact, we took a lot of heat for that, Bill. I don't know if you remember the story, but Linda Bennett was in the race.
Yes,
and
I remember it very well. And she was friends with Mark Meadows' wife. She
was friends. Yeah. And so therefore she was endorsed by President Trump. Now, just because we're called MAGA Institute doesn't mean we worship at the altar of Donald Trump. We love him, but we know that he is just a man and has people telling things in his ear, and not necessarily the things that the people want on the ground. And so we did not listen to Trump, and people would, criticize us for that. They were like, why you call yourself MAGA Institute and you didn't go with Trump's endorsement? I'm like, well, we're not the RNC. The RNC follows Trump's endorsement. We are here to vet the candidates, to let the people decide in those districts themselves, rather than Trump, who's so far distanced from that district, but has just heard something and has gone along with it. And I talked to General Flynn actually about this when I was up in Ohio 2 weeks ago, I guess it was now, or a week and a half ago. And he's also endorsing candidates. And he said the same thing. He's like, I don't follow everything the president does because sometimes his advice is not the best. And I said, well, that's what we do. We talk to the people who know. So we're getting volunteers from districts that have gone to high school with these people, or have known them at church, or meet them at the grocery store, or have seen them on town councils, or know them in their general assembly or their state legislatures because they've already served. So we give them a blueprint of how to actually vet candidates. It's kind of fun. It actually ends up being something that you can take with you. It's a talent that you learn and you do it the rest of your life. You know how to go to opensecrets.org and follow the money and all of the places that, and also read all of their votes and all of the bills that they've sponsored, should they have already been in public service. So it's very important. It's very important work. But the other thing we talked about this last trip was something that we also do at MAGA Institute. We're not just vetting candidates. Yes, that's very important, and that's what our volunteer service is doing. But Timothy Shea is my partner, and together, Timothy and I do a podcast, and we are also fighting a lot of battles on a lot of fronts. And currently, as you may know, my father was murdered in the hospital 2 months ago, and we are asking sheriffs across the country, sheriffs in every county, 3,034 or whatever counties, to look at what's taking place in their hospitals. So we have a letter on our website at magainstitute.com. If you'd like to read that letter, it's been approved by our attorney, Thomas Renz, and Lee Dundas, attorney Lee Dundas. And really what we're asking is, we feel like we are at a loss now, Bill and Laura. We feel like we don't have anywhere to turn, because we're in a three-part war. This is a three-pronged war. COVID was first the bioweapon released on us to kill us, and then the COVID vaccine has been abysmal. And now the third part of that war that's happening here on our homeland is what's taking place in the hospitals. The protocols are killing Americans. My father went in with low blood oxygen level, and they did not treat that. They wanted to give him remdesivir. They immediately put him on a vent. He was dead in 10 days. And I watched them systematically murder him, even though I knew what he needed. I knew he needed budesonide every 2 hours. I had Dr. Bartlett on the line. I knew that he needed ivermectin, which had been given him already. I knew he needed a lot of things that they would not give, and they would not give him an IV with vitamin C or an IV with vitamin D. They fed him vitamin C through his feeding tube. And, there were so many things that they would just deny us, and we did not have the opportunity to save his life. And when you look at hhs.gov and you go to your state and you go to that hospital that your loved one might be in, and you see how much money they've received from the CARES Act, Mercy Hospital in Oklahoma City had received $21 million since March of 2020 just for COVID deaths. And we know that they are given bonuses to get diagnosed with COVID, bonuses to put them on a ventilator, bonuses to take remdesivir if they're a Medicaid patient, and then bonuses when they die, almost to the tune, Bill and Laura, to $200,000 blood money for your loved one's death.
We will continue this conversation on the next episode of No Soul Left Behind with Laura Brockway.